Live. Damn. All right. I'm live. Thank heavens. Thank heavens. Thank heavens. I'm going to jump back into the other software and have a quick look here. Anyway, Dave here. How are you? Today is Father's Day. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Notice on the side here, totally different color. This is crazy. I have been forced into using a different software from YouTube. It's their new studio software, and there it is. And it's daunting, you know, when you're learning something new. It's like when I started with the CNC machine, it was new to me. So look, I'm going to see if I can get the other pop-up chat happening, because this one's a little bit small. Give me a second. This is all new to me. How's that? There we go. There we go. Back to how you knew how it was. So what happened was we had the Studio Classic, which is how I do these live shows. And it was very, very awkward to start learning it, but I've got my head around it. And I was comfortable with it. You know, you get into a routine and away you go. Then they've come out with this thing that, they came out with this thing and they said, we're going to keep the two things running in tandem, but then away we go. And we're going to get rid of the old one, and that was annoying. Okay, so today is the 6th of September 2020. Today is Father's Day in Australia and a few other countries around the world. And you may know that I did put a request out on Facebook for a push block, for a gripper push block, and one of my kids came through. How good is that? So now I have two, which is fantastic. I can hand over hand on the jointer, which will be terrific. All right. Morning, Brian. Morning, everyone else. And thank you very much for being patient with me. Maybe next week we'll have a similar kind of slow start. Anyway, let's have a look on the show. What's happening today? Woodcart in use, possibly create a handle for it. So it's over the back there. We'll have a look at that a little bit later on in the show. It's fantastic. It stores so much. All of my crowded areas are cleaned up. My wood rack here that had little bits sitting on top, which were meant just to go there for a minute. I move them away further off. They've all gone into it. So now I can put my larger pieces up there. It is so good. 55-inch screen, John. Excellent. Now, John is in seventh heaven almost. He's got some very, very positive news going forward with his kidney, because for those that don't know, John has got PKD, polycystic kidney disease, and he's lost one kidney, and he's looking to try and get the other one out and go into dialysis whilst he's waiting for a live donor. So if you know someone that would like to hand over a kidney for him, can't be a sheep's kidney or a pig's kidney, it's got to actually be a people kidney, that'd be terrific. All right, so there you go. It is great news, because John is one of those guys that he's a very switched on guy, and he's got all these drugs going for him for the pain and everything, and it's dumbed him up. Sorry, John. And he just wants to get focused again, because all of the drawings, the later drawings, John has done, the earlier ones, Steve Innes did for me, but John has been absolutely generous and fantastic. So I wish you luck with that, John, I really do. The start of the tongue drum project, and I'm going to use glow-in-the-dark resins, and we'll show you a bit of that. Carl's grandchildren's desks and Matt's melamine desk, they're viewers projects. If you've got viewers projects, please send them in to me. Look in the description box below where it says show more. Below the video, there'll be a little bit of a description about what's happening. Below that will be show more. Click that and it'll open it up. And then there's all the links there for what you can have a look at. And also my email address is down there. Springtime in the Mountains weekly video. I'll do that one first because I thought you might want to have a quick look. So last week, remember, I showed the cherry tree, hardly had any flowers on it. This is the cherry tree that I bought around 20 or 30 years ago. It was just a stick and planted. Here we go. So look at it now, it's starting to fill up. And that's just going to be magic when it's fully in blossom. The bees are all over it at the moment, but when it's fully in blossom, it's just beautiful. Yep, we're all thinking good thoughts for you. Sorry you're late. Into the corner, Russell, and you can sit there and eat Tim Tams. Okay, so let's have a look over here. This is the tongue drum. Now, I am also creating some V-carve on the side. So I've went into Aspire, popped it on the CNC and created these, and also created a V all the way around so I can just cut these parts out individually. It's really, really a lot of fun. Also, I'll quickly show you there. There was a split. This is this laminated board you can get from the big box stores. This is European Beech. And there was a bit of a split here where the joint hadn't happened too well when they were gluing all the pieces together. So I've used resin and a black pigment, poured it over the lot and let it seep in. On the back, I've hit it with duct tape. The reason being, it seeps in, and that's what I wanted to do. I found that blue tape or masking tape is a waste of time because it just melts the glue, I think. But the duct tape does not go through it at all. So I'll show you a quick little bit of video of the text. Now, I'm going to turn the sound off on this because it's very loud. I did a test to start on some sound off. Sorry about that. Just to get a feeling of what was going to happen, I did it without the dust hood on, but the dust extraction was still running. So it's not as effective, but it got a fair bit of it. I'm going through in one pass here, and I decided to go through in a couple of passes further down the track, actually in the board. And we'll go to that now. Sorry about that again. I should really watch what's happening with all of this with the sound. So the text there is jungle, as you can see. That's all done in V-carve or Aspire, whichever one. I'm sure there's lots of programs out there that'll do text. So that just happens to be the one that I have. I'm using a 60-degree V cutter, 1/2 inch across, which is 12.7 mil. And doesn't it do a magic job? Absolutely lovely. You know, the setup is a little bit of time, but the more I'm doing, the quicker I'm getting at it. To carve that whole thing out took around about 1.5 minutes to do all the text. I love it how it does the yeses. Just a little bit here, bit there, and then clean up the last bit, and home it goes. Now that's that part of it. As I say, so I say as I say, it's too much. So that's that and that. Now, these parts here, I thought, well, while I've got it all set up, why not run the cutter around, and it's all ready for me to put it over the table saw and dock it off at the drop saw. So let's have a look here. Down again. Got it. Here we go. Starting her up. Push the cycle start button, and there it goes. Winding up. So that's that 60-degree cutter going straight down the side, giving me a chamfer on the edge, and then marking out that individual piece. Now I'm going to keep all of these pieces on that one board until I finish, because my plan is, after I've poured the resin and let it set, next week what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the surface cutter over it, take 2 millimeters off the top. So I've told this machine to start carving at 2 millimeters below the surface. So that's going to get rid of all of the bleed that would have happened. It's one of these things I'm learning as I'm going along. Hi Eb, thanks for Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to Danny as well. I get mesmerized when I'm watching this machine. It's fantastic. All it is a router. It's being driven by a computer. I tell it what to do. It's not a situation of the skill disappearing. It's another skill set. Oh, Jazz, how are you? Excellent. I don't know if she's able to make any comment. I don't know if she's watching on a telly or on a phone. Shane's going to have a chat to me later on after the show. There you go, Eb. So there we go. It's going back to the corner and stopping. Back to me again. So as I said, I did it again, didn't I? That's my individual pieces. Now when I've finished surfacing and preparing this is going to go down to 19 millimeters because the plan that I'm using to make this drum requires all the individual parts to be cut to 19 millimeters. These are 380 by 150. Those two, they're the sides. And these are the ends, these guys here. And they're 180 by 150. This is beech. I'm going to either use, let me see if I can find it for you, either use some of the bloodwood that I cut down in 2018. Now this has got not a bad tone. Hold on. It sounds better when you're laying it down. It'll be really nice when it's done, believe me. So I'm either going to use this bloodwood or I might use the jarrah. Now jarrah is a little bit darker, so it might be a nice contrast. So I don't know. Morning, Paul. Graham. Amazing, mate. I hope you have a great Father's Day. Thanks, Graham. The CNC is just another world, isn't it? Everyone knows, or if maybe you don't, but most of the people that watch the show are fully aware that I was approached by Avid CNC and they gave me that machine, you know, and it blew me out of the water when they offered it to me. And I asked everyone as well on my Facebook page, what should I do? You know, should I take this thing? I don't know anything about CNC, or should I just say, no, sorry, pass? There was a couple of people were against me getting it, but the majority said, yeah, do it. You'd be crazy not to, and I've got to agree. And it made me use this. You know, this is something that we get lazy with as we get older because we think we know everything. I've stopped there on purpose because I'm letting that one set in. We do think we know everything, but this thing shook me out of my comfort zone, and I built the thing, came as a kid, I built the whole thing, and taught myself how to use it. And I'm loving it. I'm nowhere near an expert, but it's so much fun using it. It opens up doors that were never basically available to me before. So it's a great machine. And thank you very much to AvidC and also to Vectric Limited, who gave me the software to run it. So absolutely fantastic. All right, where are we up to? The drum. This is the drum. So in Australian Woodsmith, this is the tongue drum that I want to build. Now I'm not going to use mitered corners and splines. I'm going to use Cole's Gifkins jig. I'm going to create dovetail corners on this. So once this has all been milled down to 19 millimeters, then we'll take it over to the Gifkins jig and create all the dovetails and put the box together, and then we'll cut the top so it'll have all of those fancy looking things on the top. And instead of having these handles down the side here, I may drill a hole right through the end of the box to slide the handles in or across, because we're going to have text down the side here. And that's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to pour the glow-in-the-dark resin. And this is amazing stuff. I'll show you a picture of the box. This is the stuff. It's eye candy, and it's got on the corner here, glow-in-the-dark. Now there are links, I'm fully open about the affiliate links down below in the description. So below what it says, you're happy to share me. Good on you. I think that maybe they're talking about Ebony's trip around Australia. She's doing a lap with her family. And she also has a page on the Warpath. I think that's on Instagram and Facebook. And also I think she's doing some stuff on YouTube. And her daughter is documenting the thing from the eyes of an 8-year-old on YouTube as well. Emerald's Aussie Adventure. Put the link there, Ebony. Brothers-in-law, not brothers-law. Okay, let's get started with the resin. I'll move this out of the way. Now the colours that I'm choosing are there. What do you think? Glow in the dark and glow in the dark. First thing I've got to do is mix up some resin, so we'll get all these set up. I'm going to use 3 cups to start. No, maybe just 2. There's a little trick to this. First thing to do, of course, is put the gloves on. Now, with these things, don't be tempted to blow into them, because moisture in your breath is going to make the glove really sticky. These things just dry. They work fantastic. So as I was saying, yeah, the links, as I was saying again, the links, brother-in-law, there you go. The links for this kind of stuff are in the description box below, if you're interested. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to pour the hardener. I'm using Perfect Cast Deep Cast and resin, so it's a 2-to-1 mix, 2 resin to 1 hardener. So how I'm going to do this is pour out 1 hardener to start. Now I'm going to go up to, what I might do is I might put a mark on the side, and that will help me big time if I can find my marking pen. There it is. So I'm going to put a mark on the side here. Just looking at how much I've got to pour. There's a fair bit there. So I'm going to go halfway up the cup. And that's how much I'm going to use. Here we go. It might be too much. It may not. I don't know. There we go. That's the hardener. They've got the caps. So you know, red and red. This is all clear. This is kind of coloured. So you don't mix them up. Don't ever put the resin on the hardener or the hardener on the resin. If anyone's interested, you just, okay. It won't let you put the link there. No. Put the link after the show, Eb, in the comments. Now, I've automatically blocked any hyperlinks. So you put it in there, and when after the show, I will allow that one through. Okay, so there's that one. And we'll pour this one up to the mark. There we go. I'll get a mixing jug. That should work fine. So that's the hardener and resin. It's fun, isn't it? And I'm going to put another resin in there as well. I've got a Bar of Western Australia is shut down. I had a request last night for someone who wants to buy one of my benches and have it sent to Western Australia over to Perth. Australia's a big country, and it's a long distance to send something by courier. So if it was you that asked me last night about that, I will check the cost of the courier this afternoon and send you a quote through. All right, I'm going to use this spatula. It's look at this. It's murky when you first put it in, but when I stir it, it just goes crystal clear. Okay, now I've got to do this for 4 minutes, so that's going to be 27 past. Hopefully it'll work. Okay. La 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 la. Oh, put the lid on. Now I'm using deep cast because it doesn't generate as many bubbles. Now the other thing I've done, keep on stirring, David, is I'll grab that from over here. You might see there, that's a paintbrush. I will, Peter, that's a good idea. So what I've done to stop the bubbles and resin, or when you're doing resin work, bubbles are just a fact of life. Now, one way you can reduce the amount of bubbles is to seal all the area prior. So that's why I've gone in there with the clear coat. No, it doesn't smell, John. Maybe smells a little bit of a plastic. This stuff's pretty good for you. Well, I wouldn't drink it. But they claim it's it doesn't muck you around too much. Oh, Matt, thank you very much. I'm trying to read and work out what's going at the same time. So the thing is to seal the timber. So in all of that engraving that the CNC did, last night, about 7 o'clock last night, preparing for the show today, I coated it all with one coat of the clear coat, which is this same product. It's the same mob that do West Systems. So it's pretty good resin, but it does shrink a little bit. So that's one of the other things. I think a lot of the resins shrink out a little bit. So if you can seal it, then you're shrinking it, you're making sure it doesn't shrink as much. It doesn't just soak into the timber and pop bubbles out. Now also, doing it this way, I'm going to take 2 millimeters off the timber when it's all set in about 7 days. Like, it takes a long time to cure. Gets to its maximum hardness. And then it's, so I'll take the top off, and then I won't have any bleed marks. It's just one of those little tricks that you pick up as you're going along. Look how clear it's getting now. All right, when I've finished the whole thing, I'm going to finish it with whittle wax. So I'm going to sand it all after, when you pour it at the beginning, it looks like it's got a real high glossy finish. So that's part of the stuff we'll go on when I'm finishing the box. I'll show you how all of that works. When you sand it, you think, oh my God, what have I done to it? It's just gone scratched crazy. But when you put the wax over it again at the end, it just comes back to better than satin finish. All right, we're nearly there, another minute to go. Ah, Bink. Oh, my favorite child, is that right? You might see this mark on my arm, just showing how old I am. I've been doing some tree work during the week, and I was chainsawing one log, and it rolled back towards me a little bit, and I kind of put my arm there to stop it, and it did stop. When you got a chainsaw, you want to make sure that things are safe. Well, I just, yes, you can come out of the naughty corner, Russell, now that you've finished the packet of Tim Tams. And it bumped into me. Now, when I was younger, that wouldn't have shown as much as a bruise or, bleed under the skin. It's one of the buggers about getting old, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I think that's going to just about do. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to decant some from here into 2 other cups. I'm going to spread it out pretty much evenly. So I'm going to go up the side about 3/4. That'll do on that one. And this other one here. And because I want to put the colour into each. So it's going well. I think jungle is going to take up a little bit more resin. This is great. I love this stuff. Thank you, Matthew. All right, now, this stuff here, I don't know how much to use because I've never used it. But I have used their neon, and I've found with the neon stuff, it's, you don't need a lot. You really don't need a lot. These are a 5 milligram packet, so that's, I think you get 12, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get 11. 11 of these. Use it all. No way. No way. No way, Jose. I might use this spatula. I'll use this spatula. So I've got some neon green. put a little bit more in. And I'm going to use the other end of the spatula. G'day, Steve, how are you? It's awkward opening these little plastic packets up when you've got gloves on. They make sure that they don't get damaged. See that? They put it in two. I keep on touching my glasses, don't I? These ones, there's a fair weight on them, and like as in they're a little bit heavy, and they keep sliding down my nose. But not to worry. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the spatula around and use the other end. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to use the spatula I used at the beginning in one, and this guy in the other. Let's see how we go. You know what? I may end up using the whole lot. Matthew, I'm building a tongue drum. Now this resin is to fill the V-carve, or sorry, the carving text that I've done in the sides. Let's have a look at the green one, see how it goes. I might go to Carlcam for this. You can see down the top here. This to set, Bianca, this is either 7 or 9 days. So tomorrow morning, it'll be kind of okay. You know, it'll be hard enough so it doesn't move around too much. But if I touch it with my finger, it will leave a fingerprint. This is going okay. Okay, the temperature in here is 20 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is not too bad. According to the air conditioner on the wall, I think it's around 45% humidity. This room has got reverse cycle air conditioning in it. Silver, it's been quite a while watching live. I am never around, but watching later Saturday or Sunday night. G'day, Silver. How are you? All right, I think that's going to be enough. We'll see how it goes. If it's not enough, well, there you go. It's a learning process. Move these out of the way. Close them up. Those back over there. And this. Spin it around this way. There you go. Now you can see everything I have here. All right, which colour do you reckon? The green for the jungle, purple for the drums. I want it to look a little bit like a kind of a voodoo kind of thing. Now I can pour it in without worrying about it spilling over the edge, because as I say, I'm going to take 2 millimeters off the whole thing when it's all finished. We'll see. You know what? I'm going to put more in. I'm going to go with what they said earlier. Let's tip the whole lot in. It's 5 milligrams. Better too much than not enough. What do you reckon? and the purple as well. Green for the jungle. I think so, David. Has anyone else done any resin work with text? Alternate letters. I had thought about that, but I didn't want it to look too busy. Here we go. Keep on stirring. Yeah, I don't know. It would be. Never go short in the land of plenty. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit better. It would have been so annoying if I'd done it and it just didn't come up. I should have really gone onto their site and worked out what was happening. Look, I'm going to do jungle in green to start, and let's see how we go. We're going to start the pour now. Would be busy and distracting. I think so. And you notice I've not worried too much about, well, about anything really in life. No, about getting any mess on here. Here we go. Going to start pouring. This stuff does flow very well. All right, that's looking okay. What do you reckon, guys? I was going to do Jumanji there instead of jungle, but I thought, nah, we'll just go with jungle. Go to the front camera. There we go. So you can see there, it's not really a great view you're getting there. I do have some extra, but that's okay. You know, what's happening here is I'm getting a feel for the product as well. So there's a saying called bush eyes, where you look at something and just know what's happening. That comes with time. So I will, further down the track, look at how much text we have here and go, right, I only need that much resin to pour up, and away we go. But honestly, it's better to have a little bit too much than not enough, because then you'd be mucking it up. No, it's not. So what happens, Bianca, is this board is 22 millimeters thick. I want it to be 19 millimeters thick. So I'm going to put it back on the machine when everything's dried, and the surface cutter is going to go over the whole lot and take 1/8 of an inch off. I've set all the text super deep. So I told it its starting point was actually 2.5 millimeters below the surface that we have here. So the machine's got what's called a 15 millimeter safe Z height. So the cutter comes up 15 millimeters, and then it goes down to do the next letter and zaps around. But so it's going to go down 3 millimeters, because I've told the machine also that every pass is going to be 1 millimeter. So the video I showed you was the first run at this. Then I set it up again and I ran it 3 times. And this is the result. Then I painted it all with the perfect coat, the clear coat top, and then to seal it. And that's why it's gone over the edge, and you can see that it's run over the edge. And now I've got it sat there. I'm going to let it sit there for a while. There's very few bubbles are popping, but I'll show you how we do the bubbles in a minute. And I think we'll go back to Carl Cam. No, I could have done it with a syringe, but it's more to clean up, Wayne. Pouring it out like this, as I say, I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off the top. It'll be fine. But I can't do that until it's got to its maximum strength. This is lovely. I don't run it through a thickness jointer or thickness machine because they're a little bit aggressive. I find the CNC is a little bit better. Cost is a bit prohibitive. Did you say bush eyes? Yes, I did say bush eyes. Better be looking at it than looking for it. Let's go to Carl Cam again. There we go. We're going to pour the purple section. Extra is not a bad thing. You'd want to rush, make more, especially since you used all the tints. Exactly right. Would it be easier with the syringe? Okay, looks good. Typo, so you've basically made an extra over allowance for final trimming to thickness. Yes, correct. Correct. It's one of those things that as you're going through it all, you go, yep, that's going to be better. It's just experience. And I haven't got a lot of experience. I'm getting experience as I'm going. But this is beautiful. Here we go. I'm half expecting the dog to come running in, which is be fine. Now, if you're doing this without this method, without pouring and going crazy and letting it run over the top and then cutting a whole lot off the surface, yes, use a syringe. I like this. I like it. Use a syringe as Wayne had suggested. And what about adding to your Stanton sign below? No, because I haven't got any contact adhesive over it to stop any overflow. Well, the temperature in here is really helping as well. This is great. I love it. Almost looks like mulberry, doesn't it? This is good. I don't care that I've got that much left over. So I used possibly a third of what I mixed up. So in the future, I will know for that much letterage, is that such a word? I would possibly go maybe to 2 ribs up the side of that cup. Okay, looking at the side there, I'd possibly go 2 ribs up and that would be enough. So I could work out a formula. How many letters have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 letters. All right. And come up to the bottom of that. I might write that down in a book somewhere so that I remember. All right, well, that's beautiful. I'm going to put that over there for it to cure. Now, the other thing is, if you're going to do this stuff and not do the way that I've just done, as I started talking about, it's a good idea. Let me switch cameras and I can focus on what I'm talking about. It's a good idea to get the surface that you sit the job on dead level. I mean, you spend a lot of time getting it perfectly level, both directions, because this stuff flows, and it flows for about 9 hours. So it'll creep as it starts to go off, but just slowly flows. So having this system where I don't care if it runs over the top, and my text is actually 2 millimeters deeper because I'm going to take the top off, or 2 or 3 millimeters deeper. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly flat. I don't have to worry as much. I think that's going to be great. So I'm going to do the rest of what we're going to do. We're going to go over to the cart here, the wood cart, and take these off and put a handle in it because it's heavy. Also, I've used little 3-inch wheels. Bad move on this cart. I'm going to put 4-inch wheels on it. The smaller the wheel, the harder it is to push. So let's push this guy around. This one's on 4-inch wheels and it moves easily. Get a drill out. Where is it? That and that. And I'll bring the cart into the picture so we can see what's happening. And I might even come to the other camera so you can see what's going on. It's great. I love that cart. Switch cameras to camera 3. What do you think? David, yeah, I will. I'm going to tune it. I'm going to tune it with a small Forstner bit underneath each tongue. Can't wait to get my Avid Pro, Dave. 10 weeks. Oh, wow, Rick, you got one. That's fantastic. I think so. I think so. Cole, how are you? You are better late than never. Will it glow now? I don't know. It possibly would. John, I had a table pour blowout overnight and several litres of resin on the shop floor. Oh no, cart has turned out great. It has indeed. All right, I'll come back down here. We can see what's happening. I'll drop the camera down a little bit. Sorry if it's annoying you while I'm doing this, but I think it just might be a little bit better. That's what I'm going to work on, is that handle there. So this area here is where I'm going to have the handle. So I don't know, I'll come down here a little bit closer. I don't know whether, when I put the roundover on, whether with plywood it's going to be comfortable to hold. If worst comes to the worst, I can cut this off and glue and domino a piece of the same stuff that I'm using, that laminated beech, because the timber holds it gives me a really nice handle, as you've seen on the lathe cart and the other mobile carts that I've got in the workshop. So that might be the answer. But I'm going to drill the hole out here and join it with the jigsaw. I have got this clamped to the back so you can see the back of the lathe cart while I'm doing this. There's the area for all of the plywood and melamine. That all lives in here. See, off cut like that. I love it. Sits in there easy. The Kume ply. Little bits of melamine down here. This is great. Very happy with it. Old bits of form ply. 1/4 inch ply. Okay, so this is the area here that you can see I've got this backing board on here. So when I drill from the other side, it's not going to tear the ply out, because Forstner bits are renowned for doing that. Spin it around the other way. And we'll get the drill, put it together. And then I've got a couple of viewers' projects I want to show you too. So we'll drill this hole out to start. Having a quick look at the pour. Ah, looks great. Looks great. Absolutely fantastic. All right, Forstner bit. This is a Forstner bit. This is a 35mm tungsten designed for cutting out for cup hinges in kitchens. Okay. I'm going to go about there. The plywood does leave a bit of furry stuff as it's going. Flat battery. Always the way, isn't it? Put a bigger battery on. I think that's gone through. Ordinarily, I'd be standing over this side and holding the drill like that. But for the camera, I didn't. Let's see how we went with it. Release the clamps. Stay there. Oh, magic. Look at that. I'll show you the other side, and you can see how nicely it came up. See that? Absolutely no tear out. That's great. Now I'm going to cut with the jigsaw. You may want to turn the sound of your monitor down. Like so. And again, I'll bring the swinger around again over this way so you can see it happening from this side. There. Actually, bring it around here a bit further. You watch it as it's cutting. Lovely. There's my handle. That's going to work great. All right, back over to the front. All right, I'm going to have a quick read. I think you'll need to make one, definitely. Round over ply works well. Look at the polk bench. Yeah, but this is cheap ply and it's not Baltic. Not the, what is it? Baltic birch. This is Akume, which is relatively cheap. A lot of voids in it, Rick. We'll see how it goes. Maybe double up the plywood and it'll feel better. Possibly. Okay, I'll have a go. Used 4-inch casters on a welding cart I made last week for TIG. Has the gas bottles in the back, a fair bit of weight and really easy to move. Correct. I'm going to fit, I've got to get one more of these, but I've got these from Bunnings. They're a straight wheel, so that's for direction. And these ones I got from work down at Carvertech. So that's what I'm going to be using. Oh, look at that. That's fantastic. I'm excited. Yeah, so I'll probably go with those. They're the ones that I've got on all of the other carts. I want the directional wheel at the other end because this gets pushed down beside the CNC machine. And there's not a lot of space there. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Dave, I wonder if it would be worthwhile doubling up around the handle area. Have a look at that. Have to catch the rest tonight. Off to work now. See you later, Paul. Have a good time in the have a good afternoon. Sawdust on the timber. Yeah, well, I've got a dust extractor. I can clean that off, but doesn't matter. All right, let's have a look at some viewers' projects. Swivel casters at all corners. Well, I can't steer the cart down to the back corner. I don't know if I've got any more pictures here of it. I don't have any other pictures here of where it is actually living. Now, Carl, who's not here today, I'm going to quickly go to. These are ever so slightly warm, not hot, just a little bit warm. But for people that are concerned about as the resin heats up, they will get hot soon. All right, Carl, here we go. I'm going to throw the picture of Carl's stuff up. Carl Cam, not Carl Cam, David. We need to go to Carl's desk. Here we go. All right. Hi Dave, during last week's show I commented that I wanted to make desks for my 2 grandsons who are visiting me and my wife this week from Chicago. Someone suggested using plans from the Wood Whisperer and that's exactly what I did. I forwarded a quick photo of the desks in another email. It was not able to include a message with that photo. If you come across the photo of the two desks, red and turquoise, that's from me. The boys arrived yesterday and we will take them home this coming Saturday. A whole week with them. They love the desks. I suppose they'll be playing a lot of school with my wife this week. Anyway, I wanted to let you know what I was up to. The build really turned out well, considering that I have about 8 or 6 hours labour invested in making and painting both desks. I won't be with you on Saturday, well, as in Sunday, as I'll be in Chicago with my son, his wife and the kids. Take good care. Catch up in 2 weeks. How nice is that? I think that's fantastic. Some neat looking desks there. I was just trying to read Peter Woolworth's comment there. What's the next thing? Matt Hall. Matt has made something and it blew me away. I will start reading. Hi Dave, firstly a huge thanks for your YouTube channel and email advice. I wouldn't have taken this on if it weren't for your channel. I've certainly never made anything like these before, so to say this is an ambitious project is an understatement in my book. I designed everything in SketchUp to start, but have made a few adjustments as I've gone and learned. Here we go. Let's go to the first picture. So it's taken me longer than I expected, but I've been checking and rechecking and taking things slowly. They're not perfect, but they are completely functional. I've made a few minor mistakes along the way with nothing that couldn't be fixed, concealed, or that would need a tape measure to spot, and have learned a great deal. So I'm getting better as I go. I have still have a few units to go and we'll forward more pictures in the future. Pics are of some of the cabinets that I've built and or are in progress and making a desk support, which was far more difficult than I imagined, but very happy with the result. Let's go to the next picture. You can see it going together. Only thing I didn't make was the desktop and some matching pieces not yet pictured, which was made by a local company to my design and measurements. Nothing is in final place in the pics, so it may look a little out in places. Go to the next picture. I also need to make some drawers and fit handles. Everything has been assembled using the dominoes and pocket hole screws where they could be hidden, mostly to aid in the clamping, but they should add some strength as well. You can see it progressing more. Now if I could ask another question, I found I'm getting more chipping in the melamine underside than when I first started. The top is still excellent using your reverse scribe method. Is this a sign of the blade becoming dull or perhaps pushing too quickly? I think it's a combination. Look at this. This is just lovely. I love this kind of stuff. These are the support cabinets, and you'll notice there's a lot of tape on the cabinets letting him know where he is with everything. And the domino there with the TSO Bigfoot, and doesn't that work so well? Check out TSO's website. You find the link in the description box down the bottom. And there's his desk. What a desk. That front section, I don't know if he's going to put ornamental stuff there or what's going to happen there, but that looks absolutely fantastic. Clamps central, indeed it is. Doesn't it look fantastic? Now this guy's never done anything like this in his life. And he said, you know what? After watching your show, I picked up some tips and I went out there and did it. That is the thing, is you get over this hurdle of thinking, oh, I could never do that. Well, you bloody well can. Isn't it awesome, Pink? You'd love a desk like that. And no, don't ask me, I'm not making one for you. You can ask your husband to make one. All right. Regards, Matt. That is so good. I'm going to read through the list here. We're nearly out of time. Woodcut news, glow in the dark, springtime in the mountains. Oh, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with the gas torch now. So that's the thing, to release the air bubbles. There's not many there. Not many at all. Bring this back into the limelight. Actually, I'm going to pour a little bit more in there because it is starting to settle down. I did say that it shrinks down as it's going off, and it, bugger, yeah. It does shrink down a little bit. Oh, this is magic. Pour a little bit more over the top. I am getting a few bubbles there. I'm wondering whether I should have stirred it up a little bit more first. I don't want to put too much on because I don't want it running off the edge and all over the floor. This stuff just keeps on spreading out. Was that an offer, Tippo? Hold on, let me have a look down here. There's a spot there. All right, gas torch. Down here. Now I have a heat gun, but I prefer using this little torch, this thing here, because I have a whole lot more control over what's happening here. Carl cam. All right, turn her on and push her in, and she's running. See that? You may or may not be able to see it. Okay, we're going to give it a bit of a glance. I'm looking for the bubbles. There was a series of bubbles there. You don't leave it on too long, otherwise if you heat it up too much, it goes crazy. Bubble there. And there. There. Gone. That might be a bit of dust. That's the other thing, you got to be careful when you're pouring this stuff on. If you think you see a bubble, it might be a bit of dust, and if you dwell there too long, it's going to be a nuisance. It's going to bubble up. I love this. I'm starting to think also about possibly painting the outside of the box with the glow-in-the-dark colour over the top as well with the clear coat, and seeing if that, I like that kind of little green pigment. We'll see. You know, it's my job. I can do whatever I want with it. Let's go back to the beginning here. All right. Need to invest more clamps. Yeah, they say you can never have too many clamps, and it's true. All right. Okay. I think that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. Consider being a patron. We're going to have a patron meeting, a Patreon meeting, directly after the show, maybe in about 3 or 4 minutes. So what you do is you go to Patreon. If you're a member, you'll have a look down through the posts that I've done. About 4 or 5 posts down there is the link to the Zoom meeting. If you want to join in with the Zoom meeting, it's nothing really special. Basically, we just have a little bit of a chat. It's a group of guys in there who we're starting to get to know each other a bit. You know, it's really handy for around the world, people that I would never have met otherwise, and chat about what's happening in their life at the time. It's a little bit of fun. So if you want to do that, you have to be a patron to be able to access it, and it runs for about half an hour. All right, give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. Let's see if I've got a thumbs up here. I think there's one there. There it is. Don't click on that. Click on the one down the bottom. And thanks to my patrons who are supporting me for the show. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't do it. You know, it inspires me to stay here late at night, get everything ready, and then jump down here early in the morning and just do the final bit, work my head around YouTube's latest software. Just don't give them the secret code. Exactly right. But we'll move on to the box making next week. So I'm going to put this over the machine, or put the machine over the top of this next week prior to the show. I'll video it, and then we'll get into doing the dovetail joints. All right. Minimum Patreon outlay is $1. It's $1 US for a month. Okay. All right. There you go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Share the video around. Click the thumbs up. Click the subscribe button. And intro and text. And I shall look after yourselves. And I shall see you next week. Bye.